Hi, welcome to CastAndLoose Living Room. I'm Lynne Marie Rosenberg. I am here today with Crystal McIntosh.
Hello.
Thank you for being here.
My pleasure.
Crystal is a producer, project manager, production manager, and Brightside Betty.
Either a negative Nancy, don't want to be that, so I want to be a bright side Betty.
Brightside Betty. I love that. I'm taking that on as my new middle name.
Yeah.
Goodbye, Marie. Brightside Betty it is.
Later.
You might know Crystal for both the short film and feature of Barrio Boy. You might not know her as a hand model, and I will have you know you are the second hand model I've had on this show. Can we see some of the fine moves?
Oh, it was I was pulling a rope, I believe, and then just I had my foot. I had my toes were painted, and they were in these obscenely high heel shoes that I would never wear under normal circumstances. But
I love that. That is, to me, one of my favorite examples to the world who is not involved with the entertainment industry of like, this is the weird shit we wind up doing.
yeah, sometimes they're like, "Oh, who's got a black foot, and a black hand?" I do.
Nailed it. When I asked Crystal what she'd like to talk about today, she replied, "I suppose I'll pick racism for 200, Lynn," which I really appreciated because I'm a huge Jeopardy fan. So I thought as a black woman in the industry, we would take a look at a few black female roles.
Uh-oh.
Mm-hmm. What are you worried about? What could you possibly be worried about? It's like you know. Some breakdowns problems will be apparent straight out of the gate.
Molly, the slave, 20 to 30 years old, black/African American female.
There
Wow.
was so many different ways you could have written that. Like,
Yeah.
for instance, Molly.
That's one way.
Yeah. Others will take until the end to reveal their true colors.
Big sexy, supporting, female, 27 to 45, a larger than life and fabulous, quote, stereotypical black. What does that mean, I wonder?
Nothing but racism. That's all that means. And I love the use of black as a noun. Like,
I
is
laugh
it
because
1956?
I laugh to keep from crying.
Yeah, exactly. Some content makers will be confused by what constitutes black.
Jill, female, 30 to 50, black/African American, Caucasian A, sturdy, overworked African American social worker who works at Women's Crisis Center. Oh, got it. Okay.
But do
I
you
mean,
get it? Because
really
I
get
don't. Yeah.
No, I thought I was reading it as Caucasian A.
Yeah.
I thought it was like a type of
Oh,
Caucasian.
you can't expect the punctuation to be functional in these breakdowns
Got it.
any more than the lack of racism.
Maybe they're trying to cast like Rachel Dolezal or something.
Sometimes other characters will do the work for you.
Sarah, 30 to 35 years old, Caucasian female, will have to speak with Black American stereotypical accent. Okay. All right. Wow. I wonder what type of accent they were looking for.
I know, I
exactly.
wonder what that means exactly.
How is this? Yeah.
Legal? And lastly,
man.
sometimes this will happen.
Rebecca, supporting role, 25 to 35 years old, Black/African American, Caucasian, mixed ethnicity female, a stocky nurse with racial sass.
What in God's name is racial sass?
Should we look that up?
Actually, let's do it. It actually comes up.
Wow.
What? This is a thing.
I wonder what they're thinking of for Caucasian sass. Or are they thinking like stocky nurse or waitress that's like, all right, honey. Yeah, sure. Are they thinking like that? But then what is mixed ethnicity female racial sass, I wonder? People just gotta do better.
People have to do better. So speaking of doing better, you are a content creator yourself. So tell me a little bit about Barrio Boy.
Barrio Boy is a short film that was written and directed by Dennis Shinners, a friend of mine. I am co-producing it with him, along with our other co-producer, Liz Ortiz-Mackis. Barrio Boy is about a Latino barber who lives in Greenpoint, Brooklyn, basically coming to terms with his sexuality, growing up in a super macho hood. He meets a handsome Irish stranger new to town, and shenanigans from there.
Literally Irish shenanigans.
Little shenanigans.
What was it compelling to you about this story that you wanted to tell and you felt like you really wanted to pursue?
When he meets this person, and it's just like, if you've ever had a crush, no matter what gender you are, what your sexual orientation is, you're going to relate to that.
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh my goodness, like you're having all this, you're planning your life with this person. Sometimes you're like, oh, we're going to get married and have babies and live happily ever after. And it's kind of like, oh, a lot of people of color sometimes are reduced to certain narratives. For instance, I remember when I think we were at the Provincetown Film Festival and Barrio Boy showed, and then there was a Q&A afterwards, and someone asked the question from the audience, and basically was something to the effect of, why would you present this man in this light? Usually when people are kind of down low, they just kind of like just want sex. So why did you humanize him? This person was so used to seeing, I'm sure, people of color as less than human. In my opinion, that's how I felt. Because when you hear of like Black and brown people, a lot of times, especially if they're closeted, you're going to think that they're like on some down low. And Kike is just not out. He's not super, he doesn't have a girlfriend on the side and not, do anything like that. But it's just like, we're not used to actually seeing people that actually have feelings and wants and hopes and, he wants to have a relationship. So I just thought that was, that really drew me to the story.
I love that. I mean, that's what representation is, right?
Yeah.
It's giving multifaceted voices
Yeah.
to these narratives that we're in this cycle of like, this is all we're seeing. This is the only story we're telling ourselves over and over and over again.
Totally.
If you break that cycle and really spell out the humanity, I love what you said about everyone knows what it's like to have a crush and start planning your entire future with them. We all know that no matter what your identity.
Yeah.
It to me, the simplicity of that is so vital to content making. That like, how can we boil down to the most relatable thing so that we can all finally figure out we're all just little humans and like all just little humans, like we're all trying to do the same things. I think that is so rad. I love that. There's so many things to fix, but I think the work you're doing with your filmmaking and being a production manager and being a producer is gonna help chip slowly away at all of the problems.
Slowly, at least if I can just educate people, because you know what, a lot of times I feel like there are a lot of people who just don't know better. They just don't, for whatever reason. And sometimes you might say, well, you should know better. Sometimes I don't think you can use that in every instance, because sometimes they don't, and why would they if nobody has called them on anything in the past? You can't expect people all the time to, if you're in certain industries, you should know better, but you oftentimes don't know better. So I would love to just be able to educate folks so that they're not like completely written off. And then after you get educated, if you're still going to continue on being a numbnut, then that's a different case. That's a different case. Yeah.
I think we're going to need to end this on don't be a numbnut.
Don't be a numbnut.
Thank you so much for being here today.
Of course, my pleasure.
Thank you for watching. Take care of each other and be professional.
Be professional, please.